Hi, Michael Balesta here. Hope you are having a good day. Time to check out what is going on with the Cleveland Browns and Cleveland Cavaliers, thanks to the Browns, NFL, NBA apps, and websites. The Browns looked to bounce back after having their three-game winning streak snapped last week in Pittsburgh. They hosted the Cincinnati Bengals Sunday and were on defense first. They gave up big plays to Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon, which put the ball from their own 25 to the Cleveland 28. Quarterback Andy Dalton went back to Boyd for another 13, putting the visitors in the red zone. Though Mixon gained 7 on 2nd and 10, Larry Ogunjobi pressured Dalton into an intentional grounding penalty on 3rd down to force a longer field goal by Randy Bullock from 34. It was true more than 4 minutes in. After Dontrell Hilliard ran the ball out to the 25, Cleveland was set for their first series offensively. Baker Mayfield found Odell Beckham Jr. for 18. After Jarvis Landry and Nick Chubb touched the rock, Mayfield ran for a first down to the right side. The second-year quarterback then found Landry to the left to get inside the 30. Mayfield then found David Njoku across the middle, but had the ball taken from him by Nick Vigil. He ran it back close to midfield. Replay stuck with the call on the field, even though it looked like simultaneous possession as Njoku hit the ground, which would have favored the offensive team. With more than half of the opening quarter elapsed, Mixon picked up a dozen yards to the Cleveland 39 for Cincinnati. 2 plays later, Mixon was called for unnecessary roughness, so the Browns put Cincinnati off schedule for a 3rd and 23. Denzel Ward intercepted Dalton and took the ball 61 yards for the game's first touchdown. Austin Seibert's point after made it 7-3 Browns. G.T. Hassel tackled Darius Phillips on the ensuing kickoff, and the Bengals started from their own 24 with just over 5.5 minutes left in the frame. Cleveland's defense continued to get gashed. Dalton went to Boyd for 16, then Giovanni Bernard gained 13 on the next play. Cincinnati then used a gadget play as Dalton handed the ball off to Boyd, who lateraled to Alex Erickson. His pass to Bernard totaled 26 yards, just shy of the red zone. Sheldon Richardson tackled Giovanni behind the line of scrimmage a couple of plays later. Though Ogunjobi got caught for encroachment, Richardson recorded a sack of Andy Dalton to force 4th down. Bullock made his second field goal, cutting the gap to 7-6. After Hilliard ran the kickoff back to the 22, Cleveland could not stay ahead of the chains, so on 3rd and long, Jesse Bates III picked off Mayfield. Due to an illegal blindside block, Cincinnati started at their own 43 instead of the Cleveland 20. After 2 carries by Joe Mixon, Alex Erickson caught a pass over the middle to move the sticks. After the Browns were called for too many men on the field, passes from Dalton to Mixon and Boyd gained 24 and 16 respectively. Mixon picked up the final yard, and the Bengals went up 13-7, less than 3 minutes into the second stanza. Cleveland started at their own 25 and were their own worst enemy early in the drive. Greg Robinson moved before the snap after Nick Chubb gained a yard on the previous play. Chubb then caught a 10-yard pass, only for an illegal shift to negate the yardage. Mayfield tried Landry unsuccessfully, but went right back to him on 3rd and 19 for a pickup of 20. Mayfield then went to Kareem Hunt on the left side all the way to the Cincinnati 35. 2 plays later, Baker went to Njoku to set up 3rd and 6. Beckham created a fresh set of downs with his reception of 21 yards. From the 10, Chubb added 3 to his tally. Mayfield threw incomplete on 2nd down before he raced his way in for a touchdown. Seibert kicked the Browns ahead with just over 6.5 minutes left before halftime. Joe Schobert was in on a few tackles on the next Cincinnati possession to force a 3-and-out. Carl Lawson sacked Mayfield. On the next play, Beckham caught a pass for a first down, but Cincinnati challenged the play and got the call reversed to an incompletion, which led to a punt. Justin Burris was in on a few tackles for Cleveland on the next Bengals series, giving the ball back to the offense with less than 2 minutes left. Both teams got the ball one last time, but neither team could get it going before recess. Now, the Browns did not use a timeout in the last half minute with the clock running and Cincinnati having possession, and the Bengals had 4th down at their own 24, but since Cleveland had the lead and they were to receive the second half kickoff, they chose not to stop the clock. So the Browns ran Kareem Hunt on the first play from scrimmage in the third quarter before Chubb got the nod for the next 3 carries. The last one went for 57 yards, setting up first and goal from the 3. Hunt ran to the left for the score, and Cleveland was up 21-13 early in the third quarter. Cincinnati was backed up to their own 14 following a penalty on the kickoff. Still, the defense had trouble getting off the field. Erickson fumbled on first down, but recovered the ball, and then Dalton completed passes to C.J. Usama, John Ross, Auden Tate, and Mixon during a 16-play drive, which consumed more than 7 minutes off the clock. Ogunjobi and Brian Cox sacked the quarterback on first and goal from the 2, which forced the Bengals to settle for 3. Bullock made from 28 to make the margin 5. Cleveland did a good job of stringing together a good drive to give their defense some time to collect themselves. On 2nd and 10 from the Browns' 25, Mayfield went back to Hunt for a first down. Chubb had back-to-back plays of 11 to put the ball at the Cincinnati 42. The 2 running backs got the ball on consecutive plays, but on 3rd and 3, Baker Mayfield could not connect with Stephen Carlson, so Seibert trotted out for a 53-yard field goal, which was good in the closing seconds of period 3. The drive lasted almost 4.5 minutes. The Bengals embarked on another long drive, which eventually reached the 7-yard line. Schobert and Eli Ankou stopped Mixon on the first 2 plays. Dalton threw incomplete on 3rd down, and then on 4th and goal tried to run it in, but Porter, Gustin, and T.J. Carey stopped him 2 yards short. The Browns were able to engineer another methodical drive. Chubb was stopped on the first play, but came right back for 11, getting them out of the shadow from their own goal line. Things would then get weird on the next 2 plays. Baker Mayfield threw incomplete to Jarvis Landry, and they challenged for defensive pass interference, but to no avail. Then Baker was intercepted by Jesse Bates, which was returned to the Cleveland 16, but the Browns won a challenge as pass interference was called on William Jackson III. Chubb gained 2 after that decision was made, and Cleveland retained possession, and then an incompletion meant Mayfield had to make another big play to extend the drive, which he did. He found Ricky Seals-Jones for 22. 2 plays later, Landry caught a 34-yard pass on 3rd down. Cincinnati challenged that play for interference, but the play stood, and the Bengals were out of timeouts. 3 straight carries by Chubb drained more of the clock, and Seibert made his second field goal to put the game out of reach. The Browns were willing to give up more plays for time, but they could afford to do so, and Bullock knocked through another field goal so that Cincinnati could set up for an onside kick, with the game now at 27-19 Cleveland. T.J. Carey came up with the ball, and Garrett Gilbert ran off the final 10 seconds by taking a knee. As it stands in the AFC, Baltimore, New England, Kansas City, Houston, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh would be the playoff teams. Over in the NFC, San Francisco, Green Bay, New Orleans, Dallas, Seattle, and Minnesota are the other teams that would be in after 14 weeks. And that is the order 1 through 6 in each conference. As for the AFC North standings in the division, the Baltimore Ravens have officially clinched a playoff spot, but not the division just yet. But they have a record of 11-2, and they have a short week. And after surviving in Buffalo on Sunday, Baltimore hosts the New York Jets Thursday night. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh is 8-5. The Steelers will host the Bills on Sunday night. The 1-12 Bengals welcome the New England Patriots to Cincinnati at noon Central Sunday. Later in the day, the 6-7 Browns will be in action at 3:05 in Glendale to face the Arizona Cardinals, who are 3-9-1. Be sure to go to Red Rock Bar and Grill Sunday on the southeast corner of Midway and Frankfort and get a seat if you are in the Dallas area. Again, the game is not at noon, but at 3:05. That's when kickoff will be. So don't come too early, unless you want to watch the games early on in the noon window there. The Cleveland Cavaliers were back on the court Tuesday against Detroit. Once again, the team held up for a quarter before the Pistons pulled away in the second quarter, once leading by as many as 35 points. There were not a lot of team categories that they won statistically Individually, Colin Sexton made 8 of his 16 shots. Cedi Osman, Jordan Clarkson each scored 10. Tristan Thompson added 14 rebounds to his 10 points. Kevin Porter Jr. was 5 for 11 from the field. Blake Griffin led the Pistons with 24, and his team won 127-94. The Cavs were back on the floor Friday against Orlando. They hung tough, but came up just short, 93-87. This game was played within a 17-point radius, with Cleveland's biggest lead at 6 on 2 different occasions late in the first and third quarters. The Cavs had a 15-11 advantage in fast break points, and they had an edge in the paint. They shot better from the field at 42%, were slightly better on the glass, but this is a team that does not seem to have much margin for error in terms of trying to win. Down 88-85 late, Sexton missed 2 shots inside a minute and a half left, and the Magic put the game away with 2 Terrence Ross free throws and an Aaron Gordon dunk. Sexton led the Cavs in scoring again with 19. Larry Nance Jr. was the leading rebounder with 11. Saturday was a very long evening in Philadelphia. Tristan Thompson was the only one who shot 50% from the floor or better, but it was 50%. Darius Garland finished with 17 in more than 30 minutes of play. Kevin Love, Clarkson, and Sexton were not able to fill up the stat sheet. On the other side, Ben Simmons led the 76ers with 34 points, seemingly making every shot, going 12 for 14. Trey Burke and Mike Scott each finished with 21. Cleveland never led in the game as they fell behind by as many as 53. The Cavs turned it over 17 times, and as you can imagine, the numbers were not pretty. Philadelphia was 63% shooting. 141-94 was the final score. Things were not as bad in Boston, but still they played another good team and lost again, 110-88. Likewise, Cleveland was on the other side of a wire-to-wire defeat. On the bright side, they had a decisive margin on second-chance points at 24-8, and they out-rebounded them 45-39. The team was not very good at the foul line at 47%. Clarkson led the Cavs with 19 points. Thompson scored 17. Love struggled to find the touch. As for the Celtics, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum were responsible for 61 of the points for the home side. Tomorrow, the Cavaliers host the Houston Rockets at 6, and then we'll be in San Antonio at 7:30 the following night. Those are Central Times. And the third game in 4 days will be in Milwaukee, also at 7:30. Cleveland crosses the Canadian border to play last season's champion, the Toronto Raptors, on Monday at 6:30. The Cavs enter today with a record of 5-18, 14th in the Eastern Conference. Please check out the Facebook group North Texas Browns Backers page and hit the like button for the latest updates there. The text of this blog is available at http://www.mjbolesta2, as in the number 2, .wordpress.com. I'm on Twitter at mjbolesta2, on Facebook at Michael Bolesta, and on Instagram at mjbolesta2. Archive videos on YouTube can be found by searching Michael Bolesta, Roman numeral 2. If you could, I would love your feedback on the comments section. And if you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you so much. May you have a great week, and thank you for watching. God bless you.